The government says he's dead. The headlines say justice has been served. The president says the threat is over. But in the mountains of western Mexico, no one is celebrating. Because when a king falls in the cartel world, the streets don't get quieter. They explode. El Mencho, one of the most feared men in Mexico, is gone. But tonight, we ask a more dangerous question. Was he the problem? Or was he the only thing holding something even worse back? This is not just the story of a drug lord. This is the story of what happens after power collapses, and why civilians are terrified of what comes next. Before he was El Mencho, he was Nemesio. Born into poverty in rural Michoacán. Large family. Agricultural work. Limited education. In the 1980s, he reportedly crossed into the U.S., worked illegally, and was later deported after a drug conviction. When he returned, Mexico's drug trade was already dominated by the Sinaloa cartel. But he did not join as a leader. He entered as muscle. Enforcement. Security. Logistics. He became affiliated with the Molino cartel, a regional group connected to larger trafficking networks. And here's what matters. He didn't just participate. He observed. He learned how territory is controlled, how loyalty is enforced, how corruption protects operations, how fear maintains order. He learned that power in Mexico's underworld isn't about chaos. It's about control. In 2010, Ignacio Nacho Corano, a powerful Sinaloa figure, was killed by authorities. His death destabilized Jalisco. The Milenio structure fractured. And in that chaos, El Mencho moved. He consolidated loyal enforcers. He eliminated rivals. He reorganized command. And from the ashes emerged Jalisco New Generation Cartel, CJNG. Unlike older cartels built quietly over decades, CJNG exploded outward. They embraced spectacle. Convoys of armored trucks. Propaganda videos. Uniformed gunmen. They were sending a message. A new generation had arrived. El Mencho's strength wasn't chaos. It was structure. CJNG operated like a hybrid. Military discipline. Corporate hierarchy. Franchise-style regional control. Cells reported upward. Revenue flowed centrally. Territories were aggressively defended. He replaced older cartel leadership not just by killing rivals, but by being more organized, more aggressive, more modern. He expanded into multiple states rapidly. And then came 2015. CJNG shot down a Mexican military helicopter during a capture attempt. That moment changed everything. The state realized. This wasn't a regional gang. This was a direct challenger. This is where the story shifts. Because while headlines focused on El Mencho, civilians were adapting. Shops paid extortion fees. Farmers negotiated survival. Communities avoided speaking names out loud. Many feared CJNG. But they also feared instability. Here's the uncomfortable truth. When one dominant cartel controls a region, violence can become predictable. Brutal, yes, but predictable. When that control fractures, multiple factions fight. Territory becomes fluid, and civilians become leverage. That's why when news broke that El Mencho was gone, some communities did not cheer. They prepared. Maybe El Mencho was never the whole story. Maybe he was one player in a system built on poverty, corruption, international demand, weak institutions. Removing one man does not erase the market. It doesn't erase desperation. And it doesn't erase power vacuums. So when the government says the threat is over, the mountains stay quiet. Because the people there understand something the headlines don't. When a king falls in the cartel world, the silence is never peace. It's the sound of something reorganizing. And the streets are waiting to see who steps forward next. If you made it this far, you already know this isn't just another headline story. Hit like so this reaches more people. Subscribe, because the next chapter is coming.